Alright, what's up everybody? Welcome to the Cosmic Heayman channel. I'm Cosmic, and today we finally got a new podcast episode talking about pretty much where I've been, what I've been up to, and everything like that recently. So, the topic for this one is old and new chapters. So, I guess we'll start with the old chapter. So, recently, I just got out of a job recently that I've been working for about, let's see, May, June, July, August, September, for about 5 months. So, I've been spending a lot of time working and just focusing on that, focusing on some other things outside of making content and streaming and everything. But this job is going to be a huge reason as to why I haven't been consistent or working as hard on my content. So let's get right into it. So I got a new job around May. I think the second week of May, I got a new job and I started working that. And everything was fine, like the first, I want to say, huh, I want to say month and a half, because once we got to July, a lot of crazy stuff happened in my job. Um, and you'll see why this job is very important in the next chapter of my life as well, and what it did for me. But this job I was working, um, in July, they actually cut our hours pretty bad. They needed to cut a lot of people's hours to get about 100 hours a week, extra money for the higher ups and everything, and to help the higher ups make more money was pretty much a lot of what everybody was talking about at that job and whatnot. And a lot of crazy stuff happened in July. Our hours got cut. We got horrible paychecks. It was insane. And honestly, that's not my biggest complaint. Because when that was happening, I'm like, you know what? It's whatever, right? It's not gonna be like this in August and everything. So that was something crazy that happened recently. With a lot of pay cuts and everything, and people making. I'm talking about like my paychecks were like $400 for July. Like they were just cutting like insane amount. Usually I'd make like 800 or 900. So that was insane that they lowered our amount for working 2 weeks. And we're supposed to go to work Monday through Friday, but we'd be working like only 2 days out of the week. It's like insane. And that was just crazy. That was one of the major issues. The second one was the higher ups that work there. It's gonna sound like I'm complaining about this place that I work, but I really want to give you guys the full picture of what my life has been like recently, so that you guys can understand it from my side, and you guys can have your own opinions about it as well too. So I started working. Everything was fine in May. In June, everything was fine. Only problem I had was with my quote unquote boss. And that was that. And then we get into July, they start cutting our hours and everything, and like my mental health is like great. Like, nothing's wrong there. Like it is what it is, right? Some stuff is happening. I'm a young guy. I can afford the pay cuts, but it is shitty that they do that, and it's shitty that a lot of people at that store had to go through that, and it was just a horrible process of what the higher ups did to fill their own pockets up and not try to fill ours. But it is what it is. Like that's just that's how a lot of businesses are ran and a lot of places are like out there. So it's not fair. I get that. Um, but in August, this is where a lot of crazy shit started to happen for me. So I started getting used to my job. I got good at it. Um, they started adding, like, of course, like all jobs do it. They add stuff on top of what you're supposed to do. But we were the higher ups told us to cover up for people that aren't doing their job, so that the store manager wouldn't get mad and stuff like that. So we'd be doing, I do like stocking and receiving. So you stock products, you open up stuff, open up boxes and all that, and all that. So I do that Monday through Friday. And usually we just do our job. And I went to work at 4 in the morning. So every single day, Monday through Friday, 4 in the morning, I get home at 11 in the morning, sometimes 12 p.m. So about 7 to 8 hours. Made 13 an hour, so that was pretty good. And so we did our work, and we were really good at it, really efficient, even though me and my team that I worked with, we didn't really listen to the higher ups in terms of how to work efficiently, because we found what works for us, and we got it done way before, they were even expecting. So, considering that we have no nighttime stalkers either, so that's another topic we're about to get into, but, we did our job well, we did it efficiently, but as time went on, we started covering for other people, and that was the whole process right there of having to do not only our job, but have to cover for other people that are downright lazy or just think that picking up 1 or 2 boxes off a pallet is a lot of work when it's really not. Like, that's going to be the moral of this is that, we needed help and no one wanted to help. And, yeah, so we worked our job, we did our freight, that's what it's called, pallet, taking out the boxes and stocking stuff and everything. So we did that. We did a bunch of other stuff that they top on top of our job in August, and then mid-August they wanted us to do night shift, and all of us got mad at that because we worked so well in the morning, we didn't understand why we needed to do night shift, especially like, granted, like, yeah, we were getting a little bit of help from associates and everything, and that was fine and everything, but it was like, you get no help in night shift. It's just you and your crew, and you're locked in the store all night. So we didn't really understand why we had to do night shift, because one, it's inefficient. Two, we signed up and our job description says morning shift. And three, it's something we're not accustomed to and don't need to be doing regardless, because, like I said, we're efficient, and even if we get even the most minimal help from other people, at least we get help doing our freight and we finish it between 6 and 7 hours, then we can go home. So, a lot of people around me, as I started working that job too, I got to see like the effects of the real world and being a responsible adult, or even irresponsible. So, a bunch of people that I worked with, I started to see get super angry, super upset. I saw a lot of fights in person, not physical fights, but verbal fights. I'm talking all the time, and it's the stuff that I just listen to between my own team that I work with or the higher ups, which we always went to war with the higher ups. That that hasn't ended, and even though I left, it still happens to this day, which is insane. But the amount of like misery and miserable people and snakes that I work with, and granted, that's like almost everybody sometimes in the world. There's a lot of people like that at job places, but just the amount of it, I wasn't used to it compared to where I used to work from. When I used to work in a warehouse, where it's just it was food production, but I never had to deal with people. I could just keep quiet and get my job done easy and easy out. But with this job, I try not to bring it home and I try not to let it affect me. But the more we were being overworked, devalued, completely shit on by the higher ups for not doing our job, even though we did it efficiently, but they didn't see it as such, was insane. And we do this night shift and we put the work in. And on our first day of our night shift, we had to stay almost 11 hours because they got mad that we didn't finish something, even though we spent about 9 hours trying to finish our freight, all the pallets in the store and everything. And by that time, we're dead, we're tired. This is something we're not accustomed to. We're accustomed to doing our job, but we're not accustomed to working a whole night shift. We had to stay in the building from 9 p.m. to 4 a.m., but we didn't leave until, I believe, 10 a.m. So we were there from 9 p.m. and we were there as the next day started. And what happened there was we worked and we left a couple of things for associates to do, because granted, sometimes we need help. Back then we only had like 6 people in our crew, so like 6 people doing an entire store, having to put up a bunch of product would take forever, right? And we did that all night. We're just sitting there all night stocking stuff our first day and throughout the entire night shift. But our first day was the day where I can remember clearly where my mental took a hit. And that was because I was so drained, so exhausted, that when we were leaving around 9 in the morning, the store manager got mad at us for leaving. Even though like 95% of the store was done, we just left a couple of things for associates to do. Because usually some of them help us, some of them don't. But it wasn't even that much to complain about. But we had to stay there for another 2 hours and help, and we still had to cover for other people that didn't do their job after we finished what the store manager wanted. So that pissed us off, and I started to get really angry, really stressed out because we're being overworked, and that was the entire like August was just like the tail end of it was just night shifts and working our own job, and then sometimes we have to stay to do other stuff that wasn't ours. And towards the end of August, it started to get even worse, where more people got lazy, more associates, more people in certain departments got lazy, and our crew had to come and clean it up so that the district manager, when he came to our store, wouldn't get on our store manager's ass. And that was stressing us out. I started to see, like I said, a lot of people in my crew get stressed out, have anxiety, For me, I was like slowly starting to like. There'd be nights. I remember the first night shift I worked. August was so stressful and like I had so much anxiety. Like I guess I wasn't used to. I'm good at my job. I guess I just wasn't good at all. There's so much drama that happened at my job. It wasn't even funny, but all the drama and all the shit that happened with us and the higher ups and us and the associates, it started to get to me where like I would sit outside my house and this is when when I was doing the night shifts in August. I would sit outside my house and I would just look at my house. I would turn my car off, turn my AC off because I didn't think I deserved it, and I would just sit there and be like, "What the fuck am I doing with my life?" Like, I work a job where there's too much drama. We do our job, yet we get shit on, and we got to cover for the higher ups' friends so they don't get fired, so they can all be cool together and make money. And we get devalued, we get shit on all the time. It's like it was crazy because, like I said, this is the first real test I had in the real world, so it was something I didn't prepare myself, going into. I guess I was overly optimistic, but it was around like mid-August, going into mid-August, I started like my mental health kind of took a hit. Like I said, I would stay outside my house sometimes when I got off at my night shifts and just watch the sun come up and like I would just be super sad, super stressed out. Um, I remember a couple of times we were doing those night shifts, I'd have my earbuds in and be putting up boxes, and then I was so stressed out to where I was like going to like I'm talking about like dark places in my mind just to finish our job because waking up, going to that place every single day made me fucking sick to my stomach. And I try to look at the positives. That's what I did for the last couple of months, but leading into mid-August, I couldn't do that anymore. Like I started just being resentful and being upset and pissed off, not only at myself sometimes for no reason, but I was also pissed off at the higher ups and these people that we had to work with that they do their job shitty and they treat others like shit. And there's nothing that we can fucking do. And sometimes, it makes you feel like you're fucking helpless. And that shit really started to piss me off because I was just mad. I was mad at my job and I was also stressed out and extremely stressed. But like, there was twice I worked there, my duration working there. I 100% know I got sick because my mental wasn't right. Not because I had a cold or the flu or corona or anything like that. Like, my mental was so off and I was so shook about the fact that people can be so shitty at the place that we worked at. And granted, there's a couple of great people I worked with, but for the most part, a lot of people were just really fucking negative and like, it was toxic and it wasn't, I recommended it to my friend. He started working with me and I felt bad that like, he started to get affected and the job got worse as it went on, as we started working together. And just to see, I don't know, just to see like a lot of corruption at the place I worked at, it really did like a number on me. I was just trying to figure out like, I would sit in front of my house in my car with my AC off, and I wouldn't go in for like an hour and a half, and I would ask myself like, what am I doing in life? I have so many goals, so many aspirations I know I can reach, but I'm sitting here working a job that like mentally is killing me. I would come home and every single day I would lie to my mom about, oh, how was your job? I was like, oh, well, it's fine. And then I would go to my room or I'd go to my office room right now where I'm recording this. And I'd just be pissed off. I'd be sad because like when I'm at that job, I see the potential that I have as a person and the limits that I can reach. And when I was there, I don't know, I just felt like and it's not because of what people said, like the higher up said about us or anything like that. It's what I said to myself that really bothered me. I was just like, fuck, man, I can't do anything in life if I'm fucking chained to this place. Like during these night shifts, I'd work, and we work and work and work, and then like as time went on, my attitude, my inner self, the way my mind would think, it would start to get darker. I'd do these night shifts, I'd work, and then I'd just go to like these dark places in my mind and go to places in my mind, the past, and it's stupid. It's gonna sound stupid why I did this, but I did it because I couldn't figure out another way I can finish this job without giving up or just feeling like I wanted to quit. So the only thing that was giving me fuel wasn't the goals and aspirations I had in life, because at the time I was like, I felt limited. So I know if I can reach them, even though I knew in my heart I probably, I could, but my mind wasn't right, so I was going in dark places in my mind, like my past or events that might have happened that might have like really hurt me or made me mad or sad or lonely, and I would use these dark places in my mind to get my job done, get me pissed off so I can work harder, have something to achieve so I can just get the hell home and just enjoy my day with my friends and my family. But it wasn't healthy, It wasn't healthy to do that for 8 hours when you're stuck at nighttime, just in your own head, and you're at war with yourself. And like when I worked that job, like the last time, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, like the last time I was at war with myself, truly, would have to be when I was in high school. Granted, I've had little battles here and there, ever since I finished after 2019. But nothing compared to what this job put me through and what I put myself through, especially. Some of this is self-inflicted. So I want to take ownership of my own part. And most of it was, like I said, I had to go to some places in my mind, piss myself off, or go to insecurities I didn't like about myself, or mistakes I made in life, or things I didn't like about myself, or I didn't like about myself at the time. And I would just go to some dark places and open up doors, and I would just go right through it. Open up insecurity door, go through it. Open up things in my past that I regret, go through it. Open up things in my past that hurt me, or people that I've hurt, or things that I've done that are wrong, go through it. And I would use that as like fuel and motivation to get my job done. And even after that, I'd feel drained. I'd come home and I'd be like, why did I do that? Why am I going to these places in my mind? Why am I killing myself to work this job? A job where you're not going to get a thank you. They don't give a shit. Like someone hurt their arm and they wouldn't even put him on lighter duty so that his arm can heal up. He was still working on our team and he was killing himself for this job. And higher ups didn't give a shit. They didn't try to bump his pay a little bit. They didn't try to make him team lead because he was a great leader, but they would never make him team lead for some reason. And he hurt his arm. They're like, oh, well, you could just keep working. You'll be fine. Like I would see how people are being treated there, and it's like I'm not accustomed to this. I know how people are, but I'm not. I'm an overly optimistic person, And where I worked before, I didn't experience this, and I've heard about stuff like this. I'm sure y'all's parents or you yourself are going through it, or have been, or will go through. But like, the place I was working at was so just fucked up, and like the mentality of these people, the morale was low. So as much as I try not to take this home, as much as I try not to beat myself about where I'm working and go to these places in my head or go to war with myself, at some point I couldn't help it, man, because I was surrounded by a crew of people that are amazing people, but they were also miserable. They were being worked too hard. They weren't compensated for it. They weren't asked if they're okay or if they need to be on light duty or if they need to switch departments or anything. So like I would see not only my crewmates have anxiety and get stressed out, but I would slowly start to see these people crumble mentally. And once that started happening, it started to happen to me because I've never seen that from people that are way older than I am. And some of them are the same age, but I started seeing like the mental decay of these people, and it hurt. I care about these people, and I don't know if they'll ever see this, but I care about those people. They're the funnest people I ever had the opportunity to work with. And to see them lose themselves, to see them punch things, get mad, throw things, see them go to these places in their head and say so horrible, sadistic things about the higher ups. Granted, I don't like the higher ups. And I've said some very messed up stuff too, but as I left that job and grew from it, it's like I can see how much energy that takes out from you. I can see how much energy it takes out from the stuff I did. Like I had a friend that works there. Um, he told me it would hurt when he saw me mad, or when he saw me in this pissed off mindset where like I wouldn't talk to my crew members, not because of anything wrong with them, but I was so sick and I was so mad that I was working there that like I didn't want to talk to people. And I was just mad. I was pissed off. I was sad. I felt just lonely for some reason, because I don't know. I just did. And when he told me that, it really helped me out. And it helped me out towards the last part of this journey, which I'll get to. So, like I said, stuff happened in July with the pay cut. It didn't bother me too much. With August, they started piling up stuff, and they really got confident. Like the higher ups really started talking their shit and like, you know, acting all high and mighty and demoralizing people and making fun of people, bullying people, which is illegal, by the way. One of them that I've heard a lot of horrible stories about, and he still works there. But, like a lot of bad stuff happened, and it even happened to people in our crew. Even happened to people like me. Not too much to me, but one way I could put it is like I observed a lot of the bad stuff that happened there and the good. It's just the bad really affected me. Just seeing it fucked me up, you know? And that was the part that really got me because, you know, I just wasn't used to the real world like that. I wasn't prepared. So we finished the night shifts. About a week and a half in, they realized that it's stupid and that there was no point of switching us to night shift to begin with because our job's taking longer and we're not getting help from associates, at least the little help that we ever did get. So they're like, all right, these people are being worked to death. We're not helping them out. You know, we're not doing anything, so we'll go ahead and switch them back to morning shift. So they did that. And so we get around to the end of August. Night shift was in the middle. So we wrapped up there. They do like an appreciation week, right? And this shit felt so weird to me, and I felt so sick to my stomach because for some reason they want to do an appreciation week for everything we've done for them over the last couple months. And I don't know, I just got this horrible, not that I didn't get a great vibe from it. And they're appreciating. They gave us these goodies, you know, some shirts, some masks, candy, cups, all this shit that no one really cares about. And I feel like they did it for the wrong reason. I still feel like they did. I feel like the only reason why they did that is so that they can ease tensions between us. Because like I said, our group and the higher ups were the ones that were always at war with each other. Everybody else in the store either kept to themselves, was treated like shit and too afraid to step up, or was a shitty person, at least at the store, who knows in their personal life, to do anything. So that's how that was. So I think the reason why they did that whole appreciation week for us was to ease the morale a little bit because, like I said, there's a lot of drama. A lot of people say stuff about each other and they hear it. And a lot of people do some shitty stuff and it's starting to get out there. So they decided to have an appreciation week to appreciate our group. And I don't know, it just felt very odd. You know, the store manager was there, three of the higher ups were there, and our supervisor. And just I remember that. Our first day, always remember the first days of what I talk about. Remember how our first night shift went horrible? We stayed for 11 hours and we still got shit on, regardless of not having any indication as to, oh yeah, lack of communication on our job was a huge key factor as to why I left. Because the higher ups would never tell our supervisor stuff. They would tell us literally last minute before we're either leaving the store to go home, or we'd have to wait until we get to the store the next day. Or let's say it was on a Friday, we have to wait until Monday to get information about what we need to do on our job, instead of them ever texting us, which was bullshit. Because they knew that we needed to know and needed to be informed about what we do, so we could do it efficiently. So we're always going off of I don't knows and maybes. Yeah, we still did our job right, but lack of communication was a huge fucking issue there. But going back to what I was saying, so they do the appreciation on our first day, right? One of our a couple people weren't there that day because I believe one of them had food poisoning, the other one had to take care of his daughter that I believe had a broken arm or something. And our quote unquote boss, right? Which is I call my boss my quote unquote boss. I never call him outright my boss. But our quote unquote boss, towards the end of the day, right? We were finishing up our stuff, we're about to go home, and he stopped me and my friend and another person I work with, and he told us like, "Hey, no, you guys aren't leaving. You guys gotta do something else for me." And we're like, "Well, what else do we have to do? We finished our job, we did it efficiently, and we're low on people today, and we didn't get much help from associates. Which, granted, you know, sometimes we get help, sometimes people are helping customers, but for the most part, you know, a little bit of help is all that we ask for, and sometimes we get resistance. Sometimes there's awesome people that are willing to help us, and thank you to the people that are. There's a lot of people that don't. But Our boss tells us to stop and we can't leave. Like trying to hold us past our hour of leaving. And he gets into it with one of our crewmates, and they argue and they walk away. These two guys hate each other. At least they did at the time. And when our crewmate walked away, this is what my boss said. So he's talking to me, right? He's like, people that aren't here aren't the problem. So he's talking, what he means by people that aren't here aren't the problem, he's talking about people that aren't here today that didn't make it on our crew. Like I said, someone had food poisoning and someone else had to take care of their daughter. But he's saying people like the coworker that wanted to go home after he did his hours are the problem. And that made me mad because our boss is shitting on us for leaving when we're done. Like we finished our stuff, he just wanted us to do extra stuff for no reason, but he thinks that our attitude about when to go home and not when to do it was the problem. Like, no. First off, you made us do overnight. Second of all, you always treat us like shit. We try to respect you, we try to listen to you, and we do. And we do what we do efficiently, but you have a problem with us wanting to go home on time because we finished our job, but you want us to stay a little bit longer because you know in your heart the people that are there right now wouldn't finish too much of what they have to do. So we have to cover for them. So you look nice, and so the store manager won't fire you. So when our boss said that people like let's just call him like people like John are the issue, right? Like this person, he's like he's not the issue. It's like that guy wants to go home because one, you guys screwed him over, and he's been working night shift with a very messed up arm, and you guys know that, and you guys won't compensate and help him for that. And two, they're mad because like I said, they need to be covered for. And they know that one thing about our job is that they know we worked hard and worked efficiently, but they know that we can work for other people and do their job as well. And like I said, there's a couple good associates that help us out, and there's a lot of bad that didn't. But the higher ups know how good we work, and they work us, and they work us, and they work us, and they just don't understand that like we're fucking humans and we get tired. And if we do our job, we can legally go home at our hours, once we finish that up. So our boss was just mad and grumpy about us wanting to leave. It's like, dude, do you not understand? It's like we just finished our job, and like, what else could you possibly want us to do? And you wanted us to do some dumb stuff, but it's whatever. We got it done. But it's just our attitude, the attitude towards the people there. It's like they don't talk to you like, "Hey, can you guys stay and help me out, please? I'd appreciate it." It's like no, they'll stop you and be like, "Hey, can you fill me in on what your group is doing, or like, can you see why you guys have these issues and all of these problems?" But they would say it in such like a demoralizing way. It's like if you can communicate with us and we could sit down and talk, then let's sit down and talk. There's nothing wrong with that. So that was our first appreciation day that went horrible because like I said, one of our crewmates and our quote unquote boss, they went at it and we had to stay longer, which I guess we didn't technically have to legally, but I don't know. I did it out of the kindness of my heart for people that were about to show up there, other people that are about to work. So I just wanted to help out just because it was the right thing to do. But I just didn't like the attitude our boss had towards people wanting to leave when we did our job and we did it good, and the fact that like when let's say like I said, let's say his name's John. When John walked away, our boss looked at me and my friend and started talking shit. That wasn't cool. That's not cool, man. Especially when you guys have a lot of history of like not liking each other. Like, come on, man. At least try to respect each other as men and just get your job done and get easy and easy out. So the appreciation week, from Tuesday onward till Friday, it was just weird vibes. Higher ups were acting a little bit fishy. Um, like I said, they're just trying to look good to make the store manager believe that the store is getting better when it's not. And that happened, so that was the first part. And like I said, my mental health right after the overnights is starting to get a little bit worse. But I've been trying to control my anger or I would just say like a lot of wrath I had, or I almost got close to hating people, which is something I don't like, I don't want to. I didn't want to think about, but I was just around such sick people sometimes where I found myself with this anger, this rage, and it wasn't healthy, so I had to work my way around fighting that. And it wasn't like, yeah, they did stuff, they said stuff, and They did a lot, but ultimately the issue is with me. You know, I was working on forgiveness, and I'm glad that that's a trait that I've been working on for a couple of years now. And so it's easy to forgive those people, even during and after, being there. But let's get back to it. So we do night shift. That was the first sparks of my mental health is cracking and seeing everybody else around me not doing so hot, especially mentally as well. And then we do the appreciation week, and it feels fishy, it feels forced, it feels like it's just a ploy to make the morale that's not there go up. And we should, like, granted, should we be appreciated? Sure, but there's other people there that also should have gotten something. Um, this is a side note. One thing that also made me mad at that job is to watch our supervisor. She's amazing, amazing human being, amazing lady, and watching her like get brainwashed by the higher ups and be used like a puppet, being talked to horribly and putting up with it and never fighting for us. It was sad to see because I've never seen personally someone work with us she started being our supervisor around July, but to watch her go from being, I mean, she still like it too. It got harder as time went on, but she's a very happy, cheery, joyful person and loves the job that she does, and she's really good at it. But watching her like break down and get mad, or watching her slowly start to be used like a puppet, being treated like shit, and being devalued, even though they know she works hard, even though they know that she busts her ass. They don't care. They just want to make sure that you do and everything you can to do your job. Finish that quick so you can help us with the shit that we don't want to do. And watching her get stressed out, having anxiety, and slowly like watching that positive like light that our awesome supervisor had, just trying to like just numbness. It was insane. It's something I've never seen. It was sad. It started even affecting me. I was like, no, I don't want that to happen to somebody else. Like, it's starting to happen to all of us, and all of us are trying to work through it, talk to each other. Our crew trying to check in on each other, but it's like, watch our quote unquote boss or the other two higher ups just treat her like shit and may overwork her and never help her out when she needs it. And when I try to help her out, she'd be like, "Oh no, I'm fine." My boss would be sitting right there beside her, not helping her out with like heavy shit, or especially since like women are strong. Don't get me wrong, but there's like you know if a woman's struggling with something and you're the boss and you're supposed to be putting on a good front, you shouldn't be just fucking standing there with your fucking arms crossed, watching her struggle with heavy shit that like you shouldn't be doing. Like we have to move like toilets, right? These things are fucking heavy, and she moved like two pallets of them by herself, and our boss was just sitting there with his arms crossed, like, "Yeah, yeah, you're doing great. Yeah, yeah, you got this." And I went up to her. I'm like, "Hey, do you need any help?" And she's like, "No, I'm fine. I got this." And I asked her about 5 to 10 minutes later because I saw her struggling again. And I was like, I don't want her to hurt her back. She's very young, anyways, but I don't want her to get hurt because I know I work toilets. I do plumbing, so like that's my thing, right? And I get she's a supervisor and she has to work a job too, but like I said, our boss was right there. And the second time I asked her, I looked at him with like a look of like, you need to fucking help her. It's not cool to just sit there and like not help her when you go around yourself giving us pallets to do. Like, sometimes we need help, and she's a woman, so like be a gentleman, like at least help her with like 25% of it, and leave her the 75, or like give her a head start. That's something that really pissed me off that I'll never forget about our quote unquote boss doing. But that was one thing. And to see her like slowly like I don't know, started like she tries to act happy and she tries to act positive, and like it hurts me because I know she doesn't. She's trying that. She's trying to put herself in that mindset. I know it's like she's doing it for us, and I don't know if she was ever doing it for herself because like she cares about people. Like, she puts others definitely before herself, and I appreciate that. And I want her to know that I'm thankful for that if she ever sees this. But to see her like try to struggle to be herself, try to be who she really is, and that's one thing I want to talk about in a second. It's like I even struggle to be myself. I feel like I was close to my worst version working at that job. This anger, this wrath, the hate that I almost had for these some people there, the stress, anxiety, the signs of depression, sadly. Um, It made me feel like how I was. It made me feel hopeless. It made me feel like I wasn't. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. 2021 has been the year that I improved the most in my entire life. I made a radical change from the person I was to the person I am now. And going into that job, you know, I thought I prepared myself for things like this. And granted, I still made it out damn fine and better than I went in, but I wasn't prepared for a lot of the challenges that that job had, you know. And to see other people not, see other people like break down or get mad. Like I said, I've seen a lot of stuff my crew did, like throw stuff, yell, talk about feeling hopeless themselves and miserable. The fact that they can't enjoy stuff at home because they're so stressed out about this job. It's like I couldn't help myself but take it home as well. And just my mental was getting bad. Like I said, the signs of depression was the one that really got me, man. I did a bunch of studies going into September, and I was like, I told my friends about it, told my parents, my mom, it's like, grandma, it's like, man, I'm working a job where my mental is just falling apart. I'm losing myself slowly. I'm trying to find out how to pick myself back up, but I don't know how to. Even though I did at the time, I just couldn't see it. And I started getting like depressed, you know? I'm never gonna harm myself. I never will do that. You know, I never will do that. But I started just feeling sad all the time, man. I couldn't, I would play games, I would watch stuff, I would talk to friends, I would talk to my mom. I'd wake up and I would just feel sad, you know? I feel like I wanted to cry for some reason, even though sometimes I didn't even know why. I couldn't enjoy the things I used to enjoy. I felt lonely, which is weird because I have everything in the world that I need. I have food, I have clothing, I have a great church, a great family, great friends. I got entertainment, you know? I got a heart. I'm living, I'm alive. But I felt lonely. I felt disconnected from everybody because I was in such a bad spot because I was being, you know, I had too much anxiety, too much stress. I was at war with myself a lot working there. And a lot of the stuff I just didn't prepare myself for, you know? And there's nothing wrong with that. You live and you learn. And I just wasn't, and I saw it from other people, you know. I didn't see depression in other people, but I saw the worst in people, and I saw great people being completely ran over, stomped on, raped, spit on, demoralized, devalued, and it just wasn't something I was used to. And granted, I had a lot of great memories at this job. You know, I can get into this at some other point or in this podcast, but I want to tell you guys about, you know, the growth I learned from this. But to tell you guys everything I learned, I have to give you guys, you know, both sides, the good and the bad. So, you know, um, I thought to myself, you know, I need to do therapy and I need to do anger management at some point, and that'd be very beneficial. But if it wasn't for my crew, if it wasn't for stuff I learned at church, if it wasn't for my family, my friends, and if it wasn't for the drastic change I put myself through, whether I went to war with myself to fix the issues, or whether this previous knowledge, like, I'm glad I pushed myself to change and I never give up. I never gave up, even though I had days where I felt completely hopeless. I was outside of my house during those night shifts sometimes, park my car, turn off my AC, and I'll look at my house and be like, wow, I'm hopeless. I don't know what to do in life. I don't know where I'm at, how to get to where I want. I have all these goals, these ambitious goals, and I felt like I couldn't reach them anymore. I limited myself. I knew that was a lie. I knew the moment I had those thoughts they were lies. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I knew. But I was still hurt. I still felt lost because I was looking at where my life was versus where it could be, and it just made me sad, or who I was versus who I could be. And I was like, I was sad. I was like, I'm sad that I'm mad all the time, that I'm stressed, that when I wake up at when I wake up at 3:15, 3:20, get ready for work, I feel sick to my stomach because I don't want to go there. I love the people I work with. I love my supervisor. I love some of the people in certain departments that I had the opportunity to work with and talk to. But the bad, I focused so much on it. I couldn't enjoy the blessings that sometimes were right in front of me because I was so fixated on, okay, I have to go to this spot in my mind to get the job done. Or, oh, I'm super mad, so I'm going to focus on being pissed off at my boss or some other high up or my quote unquote boss all day, you know? So and there was a lot of challenges with that throughout August and September, and to get to the end of it for this old chapter to tie it up nicely, I had the opportunity to meet someone. Well, I'll get to that in a second. So I put my 2 weeks notice in um beginning of September, about the second or third week. Yeah, it'd be the second week of September. I put my 2 weeks notice in. Granted, I was nervous. Um, I didn't know what was next for me in life, what I was gonna do next. I wasn't stressed out because for this last week, I told myself I want to do nothing but try to make the best out of whatever situation's gonna happen this next week. I told myself and I told everybody there, I'm not gonna work the full 2 weeks because I don't feel like they deserve that at all. So what I did was I worked the first week, and my first week I worked there, I happened to meet a very awesome coworker, and this dude was amazing for 5 days. This guy helped me. I mean, he's not the only person, but he was a huge factor as to why I didn't get any worse than what I already was in terms of mental, in terms of my anger towards certain things, or the signs of the depression I had and things like that. But I worked with someone for 5 days. I trained him and everything, and I told him, "Hey, I'm gonna train you. I'm gonna give you the heads up of how this place is, so that you can handle it, and so that you can overcome this fucking place. Because if I can, you can." And trust me, I don't feel like a quitter even after putting in my 2 weeks. I never fucking quit. What I did was like grab my balls as a man, and I pretty much was bold. I knew if I was gonna be devalued, just shit on there, treated like, you know, another piece of flesh. If I hurt myself, they wouldn't care and all that shit, and they just try to make the store look good and make themselves look good, but put everybody down just because they can. And I knew I had no place there, and I knew that they weren't going to take anything away from me, and that I wasn't a quitter. And to this day, I still don't feel like I'm a quitter at all. You know, what I did was I left on my own 2 feet instead of crawling out of that job, or instead of letting them, fire me, which they wouldn't anyways. They need people there, and they still do to this day. But I put my 2 weeks in, and I had a great bunch of great conversations with this guy, and I still talk to him, still currently to this day too. And as I look back at all the stuff I went through in that old chapter of my life, which is all just work related, that's really all that's been going on lately, which is work. My friends are great, my family's great, everything's great outside of that, but my job was my testing period. That's like, have I truly changed as a person? I believe I know that I have. And I got baptized by fire by that job. Granted, I didn't like it. I didn't like a lot of stuff that happened, but there was a lot of good that came out of it too. And I came out of it an even stronger person. I'm very thankful that I was blessed to even have that job, even though there's challenges, adversities, there's things I didn't like about it, but it brought a whole lot of blossoming, a lot of positive stuff. And like I said, there's a lot of positive people I've had the chance to talk to one-on-one or as a group. Like I said, the person I was training, if it wasn't for him that last week, I probably wouldn't even have showed up that week, to be honest with you guys. Maybe I would have worked it, but he was the one person that convinced me to almost stay there. As much stuff as I went through at that job, this one person really, this guy's great, he's a great friend, and I don't know what it is. I guess I don't know if it was training him or if it was all the cool talks we had or just a combination of everything. I feel like if there's one reason I'd ever stay there, it's just to help him out and the other people I work with, 'Cause I love my crew, I love those people, and I'm glad that he was someone new that joined my team. And sadly, he joined, you know, on the week that I was gonna leave, but I made sure that I gave him the heads up. I told him a lot of what I've been through at that job. I told him a lot of the good stuff, the bad, the good people, the people you should, just watch out for and try to at least reason with them if possible. If not, just don't worry about them. Don't let that shit get to your head. And to him, I want to say thank you, and a lot of other people I work with, thank you guys as well. If you guys ever see this, my crewmates, amazing people to work with. And to wrap it up, on the last day that I worked there was a Friday, and like I said, I wasn't gonna finish my 2 weeks, so they didn't deserve that. But the guy I was working with and my crew deserved at least me being there for a week to give them at least a little bit of help before I left, so I decided to do that. So my last day, there's a couple of things that didn't go right. A lot of things that went well though, so that's all right. The good overweighed the bad. The last thing I did was I needed to go one-on-one and face the demon. Like, I had to face a higher up that I don't like as a person. That I want to hate with everything in me, but I can't. And I had to face him because he's done stuff and he said stuff and he's treated people horribly, illegally too. Treat some people how he treated, talk to them how they talk. He never talked like that to me though. He never has. But to hear the stories I've heard about him, not only see the action that the way he treats other people around me or around others, or to tell people not to help us or that we're bad people and make up stuff and create this false narrative and drama, that was insane. So on my last day of work, before I clocked out, I needed to talk to this higher up, specifically him. It needed to be him. Now, I didn't do it because I knew stuff about the store was going to change once I left. Like, I knew nothing was going to change, you know? Only thing that's going to change that store are people that are willing to do their job, be a positive beacon of change, and speak, have good communication and help everybody get easy and easy out. But I talked to him, one, because I needed to prove that I can handle that type of confrontation with someone that he knows I have a problem with him. I know that he has a problem with me. And two, I did it for the people that won't use their voice at that job, that are too afraid to do it. And I wanted to do it for them as well. And well, I guess there's another reason. Three, I wanted to do it because I wanted to show him that everything he thought about me, you know, like, oh, we can misuse your kindness, or oh, we can misuse your hard work and say things about you that aren't true, or treat you a certain way, or make rules and new dress code and all this other stuff just because of you. Like, this guy's done some stuff that made me mad. Some of it was because of me, some of it was because of my group as a whole, including me in that group. So I needed to talk to him to show him who I really am. And I guess the fourth reason was to prove that this is me as a young man, I'm starting to finally really feel comfortable and see that growth as a young man. So I talked to him for me, for my crewmates, for all the wrongs that he's done to me, and then to see my growth as a young man. So I talked to him, and granted, I had every intention. No, sorry. I could get mad at him. I could unleash all this anger, all this pissed off, unsettled emotion I had towards him. This rage, this whatever the closest thing to hate is, and blow up on him, right? But I told myself, I've been doing that in my head against him for so long. It's better if I just have a casual talk with him. Because I know that's the right thing to do. So that's what I did, I talked to him. I told him I wanted to talk to him one-on-one. Just me and him. So we talked in an office. I told him, well, I first off asked, I said thank you for the opportunity of working here. I appreciate you guys that you guys picked up the phone. I had an opportunity to work, to make money, to learn skills, and I was very thankful. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't lying to him. None of this conversation ever lied to him. I was thankful for the opportunity to work there, no matter what they put me through. And that's still true to this day, and it will always be true for the rest of my life. The second thing I wanted to talk about were the problems and the challenges of what it's like working there. And I told him a lot about it. I told him some of them are you, some of them are other people, some of it's lack of communication, some of it's lack of leadership, some of it's lack of people being a positive change, and actually not being lazy and putting in work to get other people to get motivated as well. I talked about the low morale and like how people were, and some people aren't happy with our work here, and how a lot of that's due to the communication, the drama, the shit talking, the overworking of people, the not checking in on people, the not, hey, at least giving them a high five or a fist pump. So I talked to them about a lot of issues at that store after giving my thanks for them even picking up the phone for me to work there. And we overall just talked about I talked about a couple issues I had with him, you know. And the good thing is I never blew up. I never felt anger. I was just at this point, that last week, like I said, if it wasn't for that new person that joined our crew that was new to the job that I was training, I don't know, I might not have been so nice to him. But this kid, I call him a kid. He's older than I am, but he looks very young. But if it wasn't for this one person, maybe I wouldn't have ever treated that higher up so well or had a very good casual conversation with. But I knew that, you know, once I was done talking to him, everybody would be waiting outside the door to hear what I was talking about. But it was a good conversation. You know, he told me a lot about seeing things from his side and whatnot, which I always have. I've learned how to do that. And I like to see stuff from other people's side. That's why I study people that are always on the opposite stuff of what I believe in, you know? Whether it's with religion or philosophy or things that I like versus, you know, people that don't like the same things. You know, whatever it might be. I like to always see why people don't agree sometimes or see things from their point of view because that's how you grow. And that's how I've grown. So I heard him out, even though I knew what he was saying was like, he acted like I never looked at it from his point of view, but I have. Trust me, when I was doing those night shifts, when I went to those messed up places in my head, I had a bunch of time to think. I had all the time in the world to think it. Especially when I was at home too. When I tried not to bring that stuff home, but sometimes I did. I had all the time in the world to like look at why you would treat certain people bad. Why would you talk to people like that actually work harder? Why would you say you don't get your hands dirty and like act like that's okay to say that to people that are like lower under the um lower under the what's the word? Like the work hierarchy or whatever, you know, like a ladder. Like let's say like the higher ups at the top of the tippy top of the ladder and like you know in the middle would be like associates and or sorry, the middle would be like supervisors, your store, all that stuff, and then like at the bottom of it would be like, you know, us and everything like that. Just the way he treated people was just very down-putting and just rude. But I saw it from his point of view. Because I know what it feels like to be that. Even though he's older than me, I know what it feels like to put people down. I know how it feels to have power. I might not know what it feels like to make as much money as you do. I know what it feels like to be at your worst, and that guy's still at his worst, from what I hear. And I hope he's better outside of work. I don't know though, because it's very hard to fake who you are as an adult compared to when you're a child, a teen, or you know, just a kid. When you're adult, you are who you are. I mean, granted, some people are fake. A lot of people are, I guess, but I don't know. I feel like at the workplace, you couldn't help being fake there. Who everybody was there. I feel like that's a taste, if not, you know, who they were at home. But I talked to him. We had a casual conversation. We talked about a lot of stuff, a lot of issues I have with that place. You know, he tried to convince me to stay. He gave me some convincing offerings and everything like that. Um, all that. Nothing I would take. There's nothing that can make me stay there besides that one person or my crew I wanted to work with longer. But in my heart, I knew I had to leave. My mind were telling me like, I know you want to stay because you like these people you work with, but you can't keep doing this to yourself. You can't keep putting up with what you're putting up with. You're losing your mind. You're having, you're starting to show signs. And like it's not the first time they popped up, but you're showing 7 out of 10 signs of major depression. Like, you can't keep doing this to yourself. You got to be a man. You got to step up for yourself. And you stepped up to the plate, and that's what I did. It was uncomfortable. There's a lot of sacrifice. I had to sacrifice losing a good, comfortable job, comfortable people to work with that I love. I had to sacrifice a lot, and it wasn't easy. And I'm so glad I did it. You know, it's not an easy thing to sacrifice like that. Never clear cut. Like I don't know. I knew everything was gonna be all right. I don't know. I'd stress about my future, what's to come. I don't know. I just felt like everything was gonna be all right. All I had to do was just leave that place because I couldn't stay there anymore. As much as I wanted to stay with the new guy and be around the people that still work there that didn't quit, my heart told me I couldn't do it to myself anymore. That I have to go. You know, I have to keep growing as a person. If I was there, I wouldn't grow as much. So that was you know, that was kind of it was kind of tough because in a way I didn't want to go. As weird as that sounds, I wanted to stay for the people I I grew a bond with. I know I've met, people that say like, oh, you should just be focused on work and not care about others and well not maybe not care, that's the wrong word. You shouldn't be trying to get to know people and all that. I've heard some crazy stuff from my family sometimes, or just heard things online, but you should really honestly try to get to know people, and that's what I did. I'm a huge talker. I can't stop talking. I just love to talk to people. So of course I made these great bonds, and I didn't want to leave. Part of me didn't, and it was hard. You know, that coworker that was new that joined on my last week of being there, he cried. And I understand exactly why. Like only I've known him for 5 days, but he told me I felt like a brother to him. I understand what he meant because like for 5 days, for 7 or 8 hours, we talk about life together. We worked together all day, every day. For those 5 days, and I got to really grow a bond and really just pass the torch over to him. I know he's going through stuff, sometimes in and outside of work. But I knew that if I can train him and I can help prepare him for what's to come, I knew he can fucking handle it from the first day I met him. I'm very proud of where he's at, and hopefully soon. I know that place isn't the best place to work, but hopefully soon he can find something good too, find something that makes him happy and that brings him happiness. And it's the same with the other nice associates I met and the crew that I work with. And yeah, so when he was crying me and he told me I feel like a brother to him, I realized like, man, I don't want to leave. I want to stay here and work with you, man. I have to go. And I don't say goodbyes. I'm not the person to say goodbyes. So, I was like, this isn't goodbye. This isn't anything like that. This is just like, I'll see you later, but you'll hear from me soon. And he did. So, or he reached out to me and he heard from me and everything. And I talked to him. We've been talking since. But that was the old chapter, guys. I was working a easiest job in the world. Really, honestly, this was the easiest job in the world, but it wasn't worth what I was going through. And I feel like I wasn't. I don't know. I feel like I learned all the skills I honestly could have learned, and I don't know. I just feel like I wasn't gonna get any better there. But on that last day, nothing bothered me about that place. You know, none of the negative stuff. I felt I smiled. God strike me dead. People that were around me when I was done talking to him, talking to the higher up, and I clocked out for the day. On my last day, I smiled. We all talked outside for like an hour and a half or something, and I was happy that that chapter is over because that's going to be a huge defining moment in my life that I'm going to bring up as to how mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, I got tested in every single aspect a person could at that job. I got tested in every single way. And I'm glad that it happened because I went into that job being my best self, working very hard since January till May. And you guys can look at that podcast, Action and Progress. That was my motto for this year, and that was the first podcast that came out this year. I kept that going into May and coming out of it. I still had action. I put in action in myself. I made extremely good progress. At times, I didn't feel like it. At times, like I said, I felt hopeless. I felt lost. I felt like I didn't really truly grow. I felt like it was like self-delusion that I was changing as a person. I was making positive progress, but it wasn't. But yeah, that was what I've been up to lately. That huge chapter. It was a lot, but I'm very happy that I went through what I went through because now I feel like I've grown so much as a young man that the person that went in there was an even better person who went out. And when I walked out of that fire, I just feel great. I feel, there's always a lot of stuff I gotta work on. That's why change is amazing. It never ends until the moment of your passing. So I still got a lot to work on, but right now I'm like the best version of myself that I can be because I put in the work to get there. And in fact, I even put myself up against a wall to do it. It was either become better or get on my knees and give up. And that was something I wasn't gonna do. So yeah. And there's gonna be more challenges like that in the future for sure, 100%, even maybe even worse in life that I'll have to go through. But the more I go through stuff like that, the stronger I get, and hopefully it can help you guys out too. I hope this podcast can help out someone out there, and it can really set you guys up give you guys new perspectives, new takes. I know everybody's gonna have opinions about what I'm saying and like, a lot of things that I said here, but this old chapter was all about things I went through, challenges and adversity. It was just about how I overcame it all, and it all kind of culminated within that job. So, that's why I've been not working as hard and whatnot lately at the time. Um, maybe I'm unmotivated or too sad I was going through a lot. So I'm back on track. I'm where I should be. And, it's time to start a new chapter. And that's what the second part of this podcast is. I know we're already an hour in, but the new chapter for me, um, continue to change, work towards the goals I have in life, even harder, even consistently, but don't beat myself up about it and don't go to war with myself as much. And realize that it's okay not to be okay. Sometimes it's okay not to be okay. I'm a very brutal person when it comes to my own change. I beat myself up very hard, or I did, about if I felt sad or mad or if I wasn't changing in certain aspects in life. And I beat myself up about it, but it's okay not to be okay sometimes and to take it easy. So take everything day by day, live in the present moment, and just do what you can with the time that you have to the best of your ability. And that's what I've learned. Like moving forward in my new chapter, whatever that might be, whatever challenges I might face, whatever good might come from it, I'll be ready. I'm not going to pass up any blessings. And whatever I face, if I've made it 21 years, then I can make it even further, that's I'm very confident. And maybe sometimes I don't know what's next. In terms of the present, I know my goals, my midterm and long-term goals, but the journey I'm not too sure, but we'll see and I'll let you guys know. And I'll keep you guys informed. I know I've been quiet. I've been uploading videos, but you guys haven't heard my voice or haven't seen a podcast in a while, so thought I'd let you guys know what's up. But whatever happens in the future, you guys will know, you guys will be a part of it, and I see nothing but clear skies, man. And even when I worked there, it's like I was still happy I had a job. I could buy myself presents for their birthdays or, hang out with my parents or, buy myself something here and there and save up money. What it feels like to have good money habits and all that. So I developed a lot of, you know, very positive outlooks on what happened and very positive behaviors and money habits and being a young adult. So it's not the first job I had, but it's the first job that really pushed me as a person. I can't say anything but that I'm grateful that it happened. As weird as that may sound, like, trust me. In terms of change, I don't like 85% of it, but I'll be damned if I haven't made a radical change as a person, and I can't wait to just show that. I've been trying to build better relationships, better friendships, whether it be online or in person, or even when I was doing my job, I was doing the same thing. I just didn't notice at the time. It's like I'm always talking, I'm always trying to inspire others. You know, keep going, keep being your best self, keep pushing yourself, see your potential, reach your limits, and then burst out of that limit and find new ones. And that's all I want to do, especially with this podcast. I don't know how many people are going to see this, but I know that I make these podcasts to document myself and where I'm at. I also make it for people that'll hear this, that it can help them in some way, whether it prepare them at a young age to get ready for what it's like to work at a bad workplace, sometimes, or whether it's to give them healthy perspectives or give them a new perspective or new idea, or to inspire them to self-improve or be their best self. That's why I do this. Do it to document myself and to help you guys out, and hopefully that in some way this can help, or if you can send to someone that needs it, that's been through something similar or needs it, or if you need it. So yeah, so thank you guys for listening. I don't know if there's too much more I gotta add really. That's the old chapter, and the new chapter yet to come. It's in progress, but I'll let you guys know if there's any like big major developments. Right now I'm just taking it easy. Doing what I can, working towards really just being an entertainer is what I want to do next. That's my next huge move in life. I want to be an entertainer and do stuff like this, and hopefully one day monetize it, and just do what I love. Be an entertainer and inspire other people, and it all comes within time. So thank you guys for listening. I don't want to take up too much of y'all's time. So I think this has probably been one of the best podcasts, honestly, that we've had. And if you guys can share with people, give it a like, comment, subscribe if you haven't. Other than that, thank you guys for your time. Man, I want to leave. I want to keep talking, but I gotta go. So it's pretty late. It's 4:56 a.m. over here. So gonna get some sleep. Gonna work on some stuff later on. Get some videos out for you guys. Upload this one. And yeah, you guys take it easy. Stay blessed. I'll see you guys in the next podcast or next video.